Imagine this. You and your family spend weeks fixing up your dream home. Every patch of drywall, every flower planted, every corner polished, you've poured your heart into it. And then right before Christmas, the owners look you in the eye and say, "We're keeping the money. We might even sell the house to someone else." What they didn't know was that my dad wasn't going to just walk away. He had a plan. And let's just say by the end, we didn't just reclaim what was ours. We made sure those greedy scammers regretted ever crossing us. If you've ever been cheated, scammed, or underestimated, this story is for you. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and tell me in the comments, what's the most satisfying revenge you've ever seen or pulled off yourself? Because today's story isn't just revenge, it's justice with a little holiday spirit sprinkled in. It was the early 2000s. My family wasn't wealthy, but my dad had been saving for years to give us something special. He wanted a home big enough that every one of his kids could finally have their own bedroom. That might sound simple, but to us it was a dream. When he found the house, it felt perfect. Spacious with a big backyard, a pool, and enough rooms that no kid had to share. For once, Christmas was going to mean more than just presents under a tree. It was going to mean a new beginning. The owners, an older couple, were selling but wanted a little help moving. They asked if we could load their things into the garage so it'd be easier for them later. In exchange, they promised to fix the plumbing. Basic things, like making sure the showers and tubs actually worked. My dad agreed, and when I say we worked, I mean we worked. My dad repaired the house with his own hands. The rest of us, his little army of kids, handled the landscaping, the pool, and every ounce of grunt work. Picture weekends spent hauling bags of leaves, scrubbing algae from tiles, patching walls, painting trim. Slowly, this house turned from neglected into beautiful, and with every stroke of paint, every weed pulled, I imagined moving in. I imagined my own room, with posters on the wall and space that was mine. But here's where things get dark. My dad, trusting, maybe too trusting, paid the deposit in cash. No contract, no paperwork. Just trust and a handshake. And as moving day approached, just a week out, the owners dropped the bombshell. They weren't moving their stuff out of the garage. They weren't fixing the plumbing. And worse, they smugly told my dad they might just sell the house to someone else instead. After all, the house was worth more now with all the improvements we had done. And the cash deposit? Gone. No refund. No apology. Just greed. Wrapped up in arrogance. I'll never forget the look on my dad's face that night. A man who had served, who had worked his whole life, who just wanted to give his kids something better. Standing in the kitchen, fists clenched, jaw tight. It wasn't just money they'd stolen. They'd stolen his dream, our excitement, our Christmas. I was just a kid. But even then, I could feel the injustice burning in my chest. How could people be so shameless, so cruel? But my dad wasn't a man you could just push around. He told the owners he'd return the keys the next day. Calm, almost too calm. They thought they'd won. They thought they'd cheated a family and walked away richer. But behind that calm exterior, my dad was already planning. If they wanted to play dirty, he was going to show them just how much of a mistake they'd made. That night, he piled all of us into the car. "We're going to the house," he said. "And tonight we're having a little party." I didn't understand at first. A party? At the house that had just been stolen from us? But then he explained. This wasn't just a party. This was payback. We arrived at the house like little soldiers on a mission. My dad handed out assignments the way a general hands out orders. My brother with anger issues? His job was to punch out every hole we'd patched in the walls, every bit of drywall we'd carefully smoothed over, ruined in seconds. The smaller kids? They were told to rock the stair banister until it broke, laughing as it cracked loose from its hinges. Me? I got landscaping duty. All the flowers and bushes we had planted with sweat and sore hands. I ripped them out and scattered them across the carpet, turning the house into a bizarre garden of destruction. Someone else shoveled sand straight into the pool, undoing hours of cleaning. We weren't just destroying randomly. We were taking back every ounce of work we'd put in, undoing every improvement they had no right to enjoy. And while we kids unleashed our chaos, my dad and stepmom went through the garage. Remember, the garage was full of the owner's things, collectibles, jewelry, even a computer. They didn't just take back our labor, they took back value. Some of it became Christmas presents. Some of it was pawned. The house that had been glowing with potential just hours before was reduced to a wreck. A beautiful, poetic wreck. The next morning, my dad called the owners. Calm as ever, he said. Keys are in the garage. Doors open. Then he unplugged the phone. We never heard from them again. I sometimes wonder what it was like for them, walking into that house, expecting to see their home upgraded, polished, worth more than before, and instead finding it gutted, broken, filled with sand and hedge branches. Their prized belongings gone. Their greed punished. For us, Christmas was saved. That computer became our gift. The jewelry found its way under the tree. And for the first time, despite everything, we felt like the world had balanced itself out. Was it legal? No. Was it moral? Maybe not by every standard. But when you're a kid watching your family get cheated, when you see your dad's hope crushed by selfishness, revenge doesn't just feel good. It feels right. And the truth is, that house never belonged to those scammers. It belonged to us and the sweat and effort we poured into it. They tried to steal our work, our Christmas, our joy. And my dad made sure they paid the price. Looking back, I don't just remember the destruction. I remember the unity. My dad, my siblings, all of us, working together not just to fix but to reclaim. The house may not have become our home, but the memory of that night, the laughter, the chaos, the satisfaction that became ours forever. Sometimes life hands you injustice so bitter it feels unbearable. But when someone underestimates the wrong person, the kind of person who refuses to stay down, that's when the scales balance. Maybe not in court, maybe not in contracts, but in spirit. And that's what true revenge feels like. If that revenge hit you as hard as it hit me living it, go ahead and smash that like button. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories where karma comes knocking louder than anyone expects. And tell me in the comments, what's the most satisfying revenge you've ever seen or pulled off yourself? Who knows? Your story might just be the next one we share here. Until next time, remember, sometimes justice doesn't wait for permission.